Hey you, and welcome to lesson 19. Today we are going to talk about tag questions. What are tag questions? How to use them? What are the most common mistakes and how to avoid them? And the grammar behind tag questions. Tag questions are very important in the English language because they are widely used. Then we are going to talk about the anatomy of your room. What does your room consist of? And we will take a quick quiz at the end, which you should not skip. So let's get to it. So in today's lesson, we are going to talk about question tags. What is a question tag? A question tag is ending the sentence with a small question, with a mini question. Like, you like this movie, don't you? Or did you went out with him, didn't you? Those are question tags we use in English for confirmation. Like, this is just another way of saying, is that right? Or do you agree? They're very common in English. Grammar explanation, we add question tag like isn't it if the auxiliary in the sentence is, okay? A lot of people make mistakes, but after today's lesson, you will not make these mistakes. Let's see. We often use question tags when we expect the listener to agree with our statement. So we think that the listener shares our opinion. We just needed confirmation. That's why we just add this question tag. Okay, the basic structure of a question tag is auxiliary verb and pronoun. Is he, aren't they, have you. But you have to pay attention that these question tags, is he, aren't they, haven't you, must agree with the auxiliary in the main sentence and the subject. Okay, let's take a look. Snow is white, isn't it? Now, snow is, if we replace snow with a pronoun, it will be it, right? Because snow is a non-living thing. And the verb, the auxiliary here, or the helping verb, is. So when we make a question tag, we use that auxiliary, but we make it the opposite. If the auxiliary in the sentence is positive, then we make it negative in the tag question. If the auxiliary in the sentence is negative, then we make it positive in the tag question. So we always reverse. And we always make sure that we use the correct subject. So here we have you. Snow, it. Snow is white, isn't it? You don't like me, do you? Do. Okay, so there must be an agreement with the subject in the sentence and the subject in the question tag, and also the auxiliary in the sentence and the auxiliary in the question tag. So that is, those are the rules. Rule number 1, the subject must agree with the subject. Rule number 2, the auxiliary must agree with the auxiliary. Rule number 3, you make it the opposite. If the statement is positive, you make it negative. You make the question tag negative. If the statement is negative, then you make the question tag positive. So these are the rules. So let's do some practice together. She is a doctor, isn't she? We have she, is, isn't. Yesterday was so much fun, wasn't it? Yesterday, it, non-living. Was, wasn't. He isn't here, is he? Isn't, is. He. The train are never on time, are they? trains, they, because it's plural. If it was just one train, it will be it. Are. Why are? Because here we use never to make it negative. So are never, that means are not. Same thing. So are never, we made it are. Nobody has called me. Nobody has called for me. Have they? Has, have, because it's plural. Has and have. Nobody is they. Because we have talked about nobody before, and we said that nobody, when we use nobody in a sentence, it's always followed by the single form. Nobody, anybody, somebody. We always follow these with a single form. Okay? Somebody has it, nobody has it, anybody has it. But if we're making the tag question here, we are not going to use nobody, so we're just going to use they, which is the pronoun that refers to them. Okay. Now let's take a look at more examples. I don't need to finish this today, do I? I don't need to finish this today, do I? So I don't do. James is working on that, isn't he? James, he is, isn't. Your parents have retired, haven't they? Your parents, they have, haven't. The phone didn't ring, did it? The phone didn't ring, did it? Didn't, did the phone it? It was raining, wasn't it? Your mom hadn't met him, had she? Your mom, she hadn't had. All right, see, you are getting better already. The bus stops over there, isn't it? The customers weren't happy, were they? Okay, now take a look at this. This is a little bit tricky. The bus stops over there, isn't it? Here we are talking about the bus stop as a noun. Okay, bus stop is a place. Okay, that is where the bus stop, or like the bus station. So here we're talking we're talking about a place, which is a noun. That's why we used isn't. The bus stops over there, isn't it? Now, if we're talking about stop as a verb, like the bus stops over there, if we say the bus stops over there, then this is the bus stops. This is a verb, okay? So we're not going to use isn't. We're going to use the bus stops over there, doesn't it, right? Because, why? Because stops is a verb. And we know that the verb auxiliaries do, does, did, doesn't, didn't are used only in the form of the negative and the question, but we don't use them in the affirmative or in the positive sentence. So we will say the bus stops here. Does the bus stop here? The bus doesn't stop here. Okay, so we'll only use the auxiliaries when we are making a question or a negative sentence. Therefore, if we are going to make a tag question using this sentence, then we will use the auxiliary. Bus stops, verb. This is a verb, that's why we will use doesn't. And here, bus stop is a noun because we're just talking about the place where the bus stop, like the bus station. Like for example, if we change this, it'll be the bus station's over there, isn't it? You know? All right, well done. Let's see. If we have models, if the sentence has a model, we just make the model the negative. So they could hear me, couldn't they? So couldn't they. You won't tell anyone, will you? We talked about this in a previous lesson. Won't is basically will plus not. So you will not tell anyone, will you? It was a negative, we made it positive. Won't becomes will, you stays you. I am never on time. Am I? Am, I. Okay, never, it means it's the negative, like we did earlier. I'm never on time, am I? She never talks to you, does she? She never talks to you, does she? So does, it will be positive because she never talks is negative. All right, I'm going to get an email. I'm going to get an email with the details, aren't I? I am going to get an, okay, now for I, we can use two forms here. We can say, I'm going to get an email with the details, aren't I? Or we can say, I am going to get an email with the details, am I not? Am I not is correct, but it sounds a bit weird. That's why we normally just say, aren't I? Instead of saying, am not I, or am I not, it just sounds a bit weird. So we just say, aren't I? Aren't I? It's just easier. Okay? All right. Sometimes there is no auxiliary verb in the statement, but we use, I already covered this point because we said if it's a positive statement, we don't use auxiliary verb like did. But when we make the question at the end, we will use auxiliary verb because it's a question. Just like James eats cheese. Oh, that's not James, sorry. Jenny eats cheese. I was wondering because I know James doesn't like cheese. That's a fact. James hates cheese, but Jenny loves it. Jenny eats cheese, doesn't she? Doesn't, because we're talking about a single person, a single noun, and that is Jenny. And if I make it a question, it will be, does Jenny eat cheese? If I make it a negative, will be Jenny doesn't eat cheese. So let's take a look at the next one. I said that already, didn't I? I said is the past, so we use didn't, negative with the auxiliary, I stays I. Okay, let's take a look at the following table. You are coming, aren't you? We have finished, haven't we? You do like coffee, don't you? Okay, this is weird. Okay, this is just for explanation purposes, but normally we don't say you do like coffee. We just say you like coffee, don't you? You like coffee, don't you? Notice the pronunciation is like a ch sound. Normally with the don't you, it's, I don't know, it just comes out this way. You like coffee, don't you? They will help, won't they? Again, will, when it's negative, will become will plus not equals won't. So they will help, won't they? All right. With models, I can come, can't I? We must go, mustn't we? He should try harder, shouldn't he? You are English, aren't you? John was there, wasn't he? All right, now answering tag questions. If somebody says a statement and ends it with a tag question, you answer a tag question by just saying yes or no. Okay, you either agree or confirm what they said, or you just say no and you disagree, or you don't confirm what they say. Sometimes you may repeat the tag question and reverse it. What does that mean? It means they don't live here, do they? You will say yes, they do. Yes, they do. Or you don't like cheese, do you? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Or it might be like, this is a bus stop, isn't it? You'll be like, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. Or if you disagree, you'll be like, yes, it is. It is a bus stop. Okay, so this pretty much sums it up. So let's take some exercises. I wasn't rude. Was I? Very good. Aki didn't say much. Tricky, huh? It's not had because there is no had here. It's didn't, so it's did. So this is a correct one. Aki didn't say much, did he? Okay, let's take a look at some examples. He is an engineer, isn't he? Positive statement, negative tag. They are not from India, are they? Positive statement, negative tag. The baby is really tired, isn't he? Positive statement, negative tag. She is going to Taiwan, isn't she? Positive statement, negative tag. You have never been to Las Vegas, have you? Negative statement, positive tag. Barcelona are beating Real Madrid, aren't they? Positive statement, negative tag. Of course, Barcelona is way better than Real Madrid. Everybody knows that. You went to the supermarket, didn't you? Positive statement, negative tag. Ali doesn't live in a bad neighborhood, does he? Positive statement, negative tag. Negative statement, positive tag. And if we answer this positively, we'll be like, yes, he does. Or if we answer it in the negative, we'll be, no, he doesn't. Sam has a new car, doesn't he? Positive statement, new tag, negative tag. Notice, with a positive statement, negative tags, questions are used and vice versa. Okay, now let's do this exercise. These are common mistakes that people make with negative questions, with the tag questions. I've seen these firsthand, so I know what I'm talking about because I hear people use tag questions wrong all the time. Like, you are the zookeeper. Yes. No, you don't say that. That's wrong. You don't say you are the zookeeper. Yes. The correct way to say it is, you are the zookeeper, aren't you? You are the zookeeper, aren't you? We use the same auxiliary, which is are. We just make it the negative, so it will be aren't. And we keep the pronoun, which is you. So, aren't you? You come from Brazil? No. That's just so wrong. What does that mean? You come from Brazil? No. Are you denying that I come from Brazil, or what are you doing? Okay? No, that's not how you do it. How do you do it? You come from Brazil. Come is a verb. So there is an auxiliary that is used when we make a question using a verb, and that is do. The auxiliary is do. Come is present simple, so we use do. If it was came, we would use did. So if the auxiliary is do, and this is a positive statement, then the question tag will be negative. So don't you. You come from Brazil, don't you? You come from Brazil, don't you? You are the boss, are you? You are the boss, aren't you? So you are the boss, aren't you? I am. Simon is from Australia, isn't it? Nah, I hear this a lot. I hear this. This is the most mistake I hear people make, the most common one. You are from Australia, isn't it? No, not isn't it, because Simon is from Australia. Then, yeah, you can do it. Simon is from Australia, isn't he? Isn't he? Because we are talking about Simon. Simon is a guy, and that is he, is will become isn't. Okay, so now I think you are good to make any tag question correctly. All you need is just a little bit of practice, and make sure that when you are speaking, you are including tag questions, because it will just sound more fluent. You'll sound more fluent and more native-like. And it's a good practice. Now we are gonna end the tag questions and move on to something new. And this is another thing. It's very simple, but I notice the students don't know the correct vocabularies for their room. Okay, so what is your room consists of walls, right? So what do you call those walls? So we are going to look at the room's anatomy. It means the dissection of room. We're going to take the room and break it apart, and we're going to find out what are those walls called. Okay, so let's start with the lowest, which is this guy, the floor. So this is a floor, okay? This is called a floor. Now, this one and these are called walls. Walls, plural, walls, single, wall, W-A-L-L, walls. Okay, so floor, walls, window. I know you guys know this. Window, right? Or windows. And then the door is where you get in or get out of the room. Door or doors. And finally, the one that is up is called a ceiling, not a roof, a ceiling. Now, what is the difference between a roof and a ceiling? A roof is normally the last floor of the building, the highest floor of the building, the top floor. From the outside in, you see the roof of the building, okay? But from the inside, you see the ceiling. So there is only one roof in every building, and that is the highest floor of the building from the top. That is called the roof. But from inside, what you see is ceiling. All right, so this is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care.